Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the Love Lies Liberation 2024 Prelude. We have members or audience coming on from the Cryptic TV YouTube page. We invited the Vantage Point viewers on to come and listen to this conversation today. So, one, we want to thank everyone for joining us. Um, we're having this conversation, right? We asked Basesh, Reverend Dr. A.J. Varma, who is the Coptic Pope of the Holy Coptic Church, as well as a spiritual relationship coach, to sit down with us and join us today for a conversation. Because there's been an event hosted for about 4 years now. This should be the fourth year. Correct me if I'm wrong. And there's a message. There's a message that more ears need to hear. It needs to reach more people because it has been unfailingly amazing every year and very unique in its delivery, right? And it always stokes a lot of controversy. I love the controversy, right? I don't like drama, but I love controversy because it makes people think. So we asked to have this conversation today to kind of give people a feel for what Love Lies Liberation is, and just to kind of address some things that needs to be addressed. It's conversations that's been floating around, people asking questions, and this is the season of love. We have what people call Valentine's Day next month. We have Friendship Day. And so now is the time to have these conversations. And also, a lot of questions are coming from this book that Reverend Dr. A.J. Varma released called Love Lies Liberation. Mine is a little beat up, right? But this is about a 590-page book. You have never read or seen anything like what's in this book. And so going through this book, I find that a lot of people have questions because it's information they never heard before. So today we just want to have a conversation to get your point of view as a spiritual relationship coach, right? And as a reverend, as someone who's very experienced, and just speak to us, correct us if we're wrong, allow us to kind of overstand a little bit more on where you're coming from, if that's okay.
Okay, we'll do
So
our best.
we've had Steve Harvey, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. We've had Kevin Samuels, much respect to the pastor Kevin Samuels. We had so many podcasts that I've seen today that's having these conversations, social media posts. Everybody's talking about relationships. People are saying that men are fed up, right? So what makes your information different? What makes Love Lies Liberation different that a person should even want to attend?
Well, first and foremost, when we talk about love, lies, and liberation, let me just start off by saying, first and foremost, respect and shout out to the great Kevin Samuel, the late Kevin Samuel. But I want to go a little bit further than him and give respect to the Queen Mother, the Divine Mother, the Bibi Shahrazad Ali. She was the first man, woman, person, religious, conscious, socially aware. She was the first to write two books. She wrote more than those two books, but she wrote two books specifically as it pertains to this subject.
Mm-hmm.
One, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and the second, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. In fact, Kevin Samuel said it's because of her work that he was able to do what he do. And they were working on a project that they were about to come out with, and he transitioned. Uh, great BB Francis Creswell, Shahrazad Ali, when she wrote the book, she wasn't coming from a place of being fed up. I saw an interview with her late last year, and she kept saying, no, the book is not intended, it's not coming from a fed up Black woman or a fed up Black man. It's coming from Black men and Black women who are saying, I'm fed up with the system that has us at odds. So how do we get to a point where we can come together, right? Love, lies, and liberation. It's about stop loving the lies as it pertains to Black people, not Black love, Black people.
Mm-hmm.
They say so much about Black people, from love to child rearing to education to spirituality to religious thinking to food to diet to health. And so many stereotypes have been repeated so many times over and over and over and over again. And as the old adage says, all you have to do is repeat the lie over and over and over again long enough, and it sounds or it becomes the truth.
Mhm.
Love Lies Liberation, which is brought to people by the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, we're coming from the perspective of very simple, conscientiously conscious, spiritually aware people of faith, men and women of faith, right? If you're a person that I don't believe in nothing, I don't want nothing, I don't let nobody control me, I ain't following no book written by no man, this probably ain't gonna work well for you, right? Just not gonna work. You mentioned Steve Harvey. Mr. Steve Harvey wrote a book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And I remember when the book came out almost 20 years ago now. It's been that long. And it was, and everybody was grabbing it, right? My family, the women in my family at the time, everybody had a copy. Like, and so I said, all right, give me the book. Let me read it. I took the book, I read the book. So it's an interesting read. And they said, what do you think about the book? I said, it's an interesting read. They said, yeah, but what do you think about it? I said, I think it's going to sell really well because it's speaking to a certain type of woman who believes that she can actually think like a man.
Hmm.
It'd be like me saying, act like a man, think like a woman. The five women on my screen would start laughing. Like, you can't think like a woman. You know, if somebody says, well, just a simple thing of your menstrual cycle, I can't possibly tell you, oh, I know what that's like. That's just like getting punched in the gut. You're like, oh, hell no. It's like getting more than punched in the gut, right? You follow? So the premise that you could read this book, and if you wait 90 days, read this book, go on a date, meet this guy, wait 90 days, and after 90 days, girl, he ain't gonna never cheat on you. He ain't gonna look at nobody but you. I mean, when you belch, he's gonna smell your belch, and he's gonna. It's not. It's not real. That's not realistic. And so a bunch of people ran out. They had all these programs. Everybody was writing books on relationships. Now, I'd written the first Love Lies Liberation called The Science and Art of Sex, as taught by the men priesthood years before. And in fact, I have a teacher, Baba Tumre. He wrote a book called The Sex Life of a Muslim back in 1978, 1985. And so after reading his book as a teenager, as a young man, I now took what I learned from him and said, let's go further. Let's be opposite yet still true. Let's take this in the age of research and having lived and gotten more grace down here and nothing up here right on my head, and saying, what can we do with this notion? Because I'm watching people trying to act like a lady. I don't want to be with someone who's acting like a lady. I want someone who becomes a lady. Right? If you act like a lady, what happens when you stop acting like a lady?
Hmm.
When do you get to not act like a lady no more?
Hmm.
See, if you become a lady, the mask doesn't have to be an act anymore. It is what it is. Now, again, I'm not saying don't read Steve Harvey's book, read anything you want, right? But question the person writing it, are they living it? Did it work? You know, this is going to sound messed up. But anyway, he has a stepdaughter, right? Lori Harvey. Did she read Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man? Because she running through Hollywood. No, wait a minute now. You judge by the tree. The tree is judged by the fruit it bears. Her name is Lori Harvey. That's his daughter. Mad respect. And, you know, shout out to Cat Williams because this is Year of Truth, right? But anyway, right? He has a daughter, right? And his daughter, Lori Harvey, was raised in that house by him, right? From the time of Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, she was in that house. Did she read the book? She took some good men. Michael B. What's his name? Michael B.
Jordan.
Jordan. He's a good man. I mean, I know he played Killmonger, but he's a good man. You know what I'm saying? The other young man that's in the show, I think it's called Powder or some kind of drug movie or whatever, but another good man. These are some good men. These are some good brothers, well-bred, intelligent, know how to treat you like a lady. So why is it not working? And I know there's people say, no, you shouldn't go with, but you told me that this book, if I read it as a woman, is going to make me act like a lady and think like a man. And she was acting like a lady, but at what point did she stop acting like a lady? And they may have seen that she was more like a man in her thinking. Now they can come for me. I don't mind bringing it. I take all comers. I live for this, right? But the reality is, I have 6 daughters. I never taught my daughters to act like a lady. I taught my daughters to be a lady. The only time they were not allowed to be a lady was when they were running track, playing softball, playing basketball. I said on the court, be an athlete. So they would dive for the ball, go head first into the bag, slide feet first, hook slide, all those kind of things. That's athlete time. But when they would come off between those 2 lines, you see them put their little purse on, take off their cleats, and put on little slides and shoes, and be a lady, be that, right? So I think again that book had a great premise, but now you got act smart, be smart, act rich, be rich. So everything is acting. So we acting rich. We're buying $5,000 purses with no money in it instead of having a garbage bag with $5,000 in it. We're doing a lot of acting, and women and men of purpose, of faith, we're saying that's enough with the acting, right? We appreciate the book. We appreciate the intent. And I think that should now be used to focus on repairing and repealing and healing of those who acted like and thought like and failed at.
Mm.
Again,
Can
they're going to come for
I
me.
ask a question?
They're
Because
going to come.
I've been trying to invite people to the Love Lives Liberation. So I've been speaking to like family members, friends, colleagues, and I've been explaining to them that it's about relationship building, how to sustain your relationship, if that be with relatives, your spouse, or business related relationships. And a friend of mine, she said to me, she said, Simone, monogamous men don't exist.
Oh.
And I disagreed with her, and we were back and forth, and we just agreed to disagree. But I just wanted to grasp your thoughts on that in terms of monogamous men. She just feels that men are not faithful, so they don't exist.
Well, okay, well, here's a few points, right? And I would say to your friend, is anybody monogamous?
Say
Uh-oh.
that again.
Is anybody monogamous? Let me tell you why I'm saying that. How many of us are getting married today? I'm gonna cover my eyes so nobody thinks I'm looking at them, right? But how many of us today are getting married and both the man and the woman are both virgins? Go.
1%.
1%.
Arranged marriages.
Virgins.
Maybe arranged marriages, one person might be a virgin, but for the most part, nobody's coming into the relationship that was monogamous. We were trinogamous. We were trying everything we can find.
We were sampling.
We were sampling monogamous. We would dip my finger and see what it tastes like. So let's just that. No, I'm just look. This love lies a little bit different, right?
But that's different.
So the idea of monogamous, first of all, it's a Greek term that doesn't align with indigenous thinking, does not align with Native Americans, does not align with indigenous natives of the Caribbean, does not align with indigenous natives of South America, does not align with indigenous Africans. The people in Europe were a little bit different because they were man on man, woman on woman. So that's a different discussion. We'll touch on that. But ultimately, nobody walking around, unless they're still, I think Sister Venus Williams says she's still a virgin. Was it Venus or Serena? One of them. Venus, right? She says she's still a virgin. And, now look at your face. All y'all went like, oh. I don't know. I'm just, listen, look, I don't want nobody coming for me. Right? But ultimately, if someone says men are not, nobody is. Now, women may say, but men cheat, yeah, only because of danger. Right? Because Cardi B cheat, Megan Thee Stallion cheat, Little Red Riding Hood, what's her name? Sexy Red cheat. Right? These people will tell you I'm toxic. Cardi B said I'm toxic. Cardi B did, you know what I'm saying? She did a couple of videos, one called Bong, one called WAP, and there's nothing but lesbian, bisexual, homosexual, all this kind of crap. So this is what we're seeing take place. Right? And so after everybody does all of that, there's like, okay, what happens if you meet a man and that man only had 5 partners in his life, right? And you had 35 partners in your life. Does he get to catch up?
No.
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 Take his time.
Take his time.
Okay, wait. So you're saying because of a person's past that they don't get the opportunity to have a monogamous relationship because of what they did prior?
I'm saying in ancient culture, if a woman had already been married, she don't get a man who don't have a wife. She becomes a part of that man's family, and what today would fall under polygyny or not polygyny, polygamy. And there was no this woman who has 2 children, 3 children, 5 children, whatever the number, have been married 2, 3 times. Now she's gonna get this new, fresh, young stud, fresh off the line. You know what I'm saying? Right off the, right off the conveyor belt of young 19-year-old Viral, and he's a virgin. That's not gonna happen. That doesn't happen anywhere in nature. Nowhere in nature, no elephants do that. Lions don't do it. Bears don't do it. No creatures do that. So, to your questions, or both of your questions, the idea of men and men being monogamous, the reality is the numbers. Let's say if every man said scripturally, I'm going to be monogamous. I want one wife, one woman. From the time I'm 18, I'm never going to look at nobody else again. This is my last set of nipples ever. There was my mama's nipples, and now there's these nipples. No more nipples. This is it. I'm going to be nipple free. This is the nipple free, right? And that sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. But meanwhile, let's just say Island of Bahamas. We were there last year for Love Lies Liberation. I had a wonderful lady, Miss Shanique Miller. Shout out to Miss Shanique Miller, right? And I asked a question in a pre-interview before going there. I said, there's 15,000 more women in the island of Nassau in Bahamas. 15,000 more women than men. That means those 15,000 extra women can get 10 PhDs, can learn to cook every Chinese, Caribbean, African, North American, Asian Pacific, Hawaiian. They can do luau's. They can have the Hawaiian skirts. They can, you know what I'm saying? They can do what the people do in Thailand, the hands. They can do all of that. There still is no man that's been born for them.
Okay, so then if that's the case,
wait, don't jump me. I want to know 15,000 women do. What do they do? It ain't the men that got the problem. We can find somebody. It's the monogamous women. What y'all? We ain't the issue. Everybody on the screen is a man. You got somebody? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure. All right, boom. We straight. It's 15,000 people for me to pick from. I got 15,000 extra. That's my wife, and I got 15,000 people. So if she say I'm leaving, Mike.
that was a quick detach.
I'm saying it in a way that people, again, this is what Love Lies Liberation is. We got to talk the truth. So your friend, Sister Simone, who's asking that, we're not the problem. I don't see a bunch of black men going to events saying, I can't find nobody for me. There's no women out here. I'll be looking and everybody's married. Every woman I look at got a ring on her finger. I don't know what I was going to do. We're not saying that. So the question, the ownership of monogamy is not on us. We didn't create the idea of monogamy. Women did. So you created a policy that puts you at a disadvantage when nature gave more of you and less of us. God made more little girls than little boys. So God, Allah.
What do you mean we created it?
Well, because modern women today say it with a ring on it, put a ring on it. What you done for me lately? What love got to do with it? That's not. Ain't no man going. What love got to do? Guys ain't singing that. We ain't going. What have you done for me lately?
So Bob says, so love doesn't play a factor?
Okay, again, we didn't create this thing called love. We didn't create it. The European created this thing called love. And the European men, 85% of them are homosexuals. So the homosexual gene creates the idea of one woman. Of course he's going to settle with one woman because he got one woman and 10 men. That was the whole AIDS. This is real. Monkeypox is decimating their population. They pulled it out the media and talked about Palestine and everything else that's going on. But ultimately, one man, one wife, love. I'm not saying there's no love. I'm saying those 15,000 extra women in Bahamas ain't got nobody to love.
Dr.
Okay,
Ford,
so
you,
you,
you
So,
know,
wait,
jump
so
in
I
there.
got to
Jump
jump
in
into
there.
this.
You know, respectfully, we have to jump.
Oh, here they go. All right, okay.
Wait,
so
wait.
men want more than one woman? Do men want that?
Number
Can,
one, number one, yes. Now let me flip it. Do women want more than one man? No, 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 no. I didn't say do you want more. Okay, here's the trick. I love English. Do you want more than one now? No. Everybody cover your eyes so nobody's looking at nobody. Have you been with more than one in your life? Yes. So why didn't we stop after that first one?
The man was the problem.
The man was the
That's not
problem.
fair. I'm
Okay.
not going to say
So
that. I'm
wait
going
a
to let
minute.
Dr. Ford jump
No,
in.
wait. So okay, if men are the problem, how many men do you go through before you decide maybe it's more than man being the problem?
That's
I
true.
had a friend say she was going to do it until she got it right.
Oh, yeah, okay, and Elizabeth Taylor thought the same thing. She
Mm.
thought she was going to do it till she got it right, and she died and never got it right. What's the other one's name? Halle Berry. She been doing it till she get it right, and she ain't got it right. Which one? Which woman trying them all till they get it right have succeeded? Name them. You see what I'm saying? Now, are there men who had a whole bunch of women and eventually got it right? Yeah.
but that's the difference between settling and satisfying. That's not fair. Because when you have first said, I mean, come on now. When you first started, you said what three options? So you're saying if the three options are either a woman has to be we selfish, it's me, myself, and I, it's all about me. One.
All right.
Two, either women have to date down.
Ooh, they
Just
gonna
like you
date
said,
down.
we gotta date down. I'm not dating in my we really not on the same level. But I'm gonna go ahead and get to
No, no,
the
you don't
feminine
have to.
space.
No, they don't have to. Okay, go ahead.
Or
Okay.
right,
Uh-huh.
right. Or, are you saying I have to become a career side chick?
No, none of
And
those. No, there's a thing called polygamy.
these are the options. I'm just saying these are the options. These are what you're telling me.
Or
Is
they
that a
could be,
thing?
or they could be. I don't. All the career side chicks hit a brother up. Hit me up. I want to have
Right,
the career
because of
side
now
chick
they're not gonna
convention.
say polygamy. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna be a career side chick.
I want to have the career side chick convention. Okay. Career side chick convention, right? But ultimately, when you say, as we joke, the reality is we're saying there's a thing called family,
Mhm.
called polygamy. African women, indigenous women of North America, South America, they created polygamy. Polygamy was making these men who were having side chicks have to settle down and be responsible for these women as wives.
Okay.
There's a difference when you have to settle down. Not. You said what's it? You said I said you said with this number two. They're settling down. Yours.
Satisfied versus
No,
settled.
no, 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 no. When you get a man that's less than you, what's that called?
Settling.
Dating down.
Okay.
Dating
Settling,
down.
settling.
Right. I mean, you dating down.
Let me ask you a question about dating down. How many men are well off that meets a woman who's well off? Most men are gonna date down.
Mm.
The drug dealer don't get another female drug dealer bringing in the same amount of drug money. The drug dealer gets a girl who's a nice girl, but she ain't got the money he got. How many men that are well off are going to meet their equal? Because a man is not looking for his equal. A man is looking for someone he can work with. So if
Mm.
a person starts saying, I'm dating down, then we say, no, no problem. Date up, date down, date parallel. There's still 15,000 less
Wait, wait,
men.
wait. So dating down has to do with finances. So dating down is you're saying it's predicated upon how much finances you have. So
Say it.
no other
Women
qualities
said
come into huh?
I say, Dr. Ford, that lady right there with the birthday thing on, she said, a lot of women, we got to date down. I said, you know what? You right. See, here's the reality again 15,000 extra women. So we don't mind if you don't want to date down, up, or parallel. There's still 15,000 more choices.
I can see that.
So
Okay.
is it that you're dating that? What happens if a man says, well, yes, you got your degree, you got all that, but you too young, you too old, you too thick, you too thin, you too light, you too dark, because I got 15,000 to choose from.
That's
Or
true.
you can say, he not my education level. Okay, I can go get that. You still can't get 15,000 extra.
So
I
don't
can
be
go get
picky.
that degree. No, I didn't say don't be picky. We're coming from spiritual awareness, conscientiously conscious, culture, scripture. See, the Bible, and I know people hate that word Bible. The Quran, I know another group that hate that word too. The scriptures, the original books of the Bible, it has, most Christians have never read the book of Leviticus
Mm.
in the language, not some faulty translation that says kill the cow and then drink the blood, not that weird stuff. Really on if a man has two wives in the house of the man. Proverbs, if a man has two wives. Abraham, he kind of messed it up, right? But it's very, scripture is very specific on how to, if a man has more than one wife and he has a wife that he hateth, they literally put the word in translation, hateth, but he shall make sure to provide for the woman that he hateth as if she was the one that he loved, because that, so there's rules. But right now, there's no rules. We're acting like ladies, thinking like men. We're mad at each other. The reality again, Nassau, Bahamas, let's say that that's a small sample of the black world. When I'm in Africa, I've been to Liberia, I've been to Ghana, been to Gambia, been to Sierra Leone, been to Cote d'Ivoire, been to Guinea, been to Zimbabwe, well, not Zimbabwe, Zaire. I've been around the African continent, been around the Caribbean, been around South America, been in New York, Philadelphia, DC, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Connecticut, Florida, Atlanta, Mississippi, California, and everywhere I've been, England, I see more women than there are men. And the math, in the words of the great Taraji P. Henson, the math ain't mathing.
Mm.
The
Are the
math is
brothers
not.
backing you up on this? Because
The brothers is definitely the brothers is definitely backing him up on
That wasn't backing me up. They were saying if I could handle it. They're like, look at them getting there. Nobody was in the corner. Nobody, no cut man. I got cuts all up here. They all like. So no, you don't have to date down. You got to date into reality. You got to date here. What is the reality of the situation? Not what do I like, not how do I feel, not what would I want. What is the reality? If there was a bunch of lionesses or a bunch of female elephants or cows or a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? And they all had less men than women, or more females than men, what would the lionesses do? Would they start becoming bisexual?
No, they would have to work
And
together.
I'm saying that because there are always more lionesses than there are lions in the pride. The pride's numbers are always more females because the females hunt. They need more hunters. So nature made it where they give birth to more female lions. Nature makes, if I check out the bonobo or the chimpanzee across the Congo River, the Lapanzi River, you find the same thing there. If I go amongst the elephants, there's more female elephants than males. All mammals have more females to male. And all of them understood and understand that that means those females don't go bisexual. They don't go lesbian. They don't go, I'm dating down. He's not Mufasa. If he ain't Mufasa, I need me a Mufasa. I ain't trying to get me no star. I ain't
Okay,
settling for
then.
no Simba.
So then, if that's the case,
reality.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. And you saying scripturally, because if you're saying scripturally, it's about provisions and be responsible. Then that means that now sisters working, and then you all are just work husbands. Go out there, go get that money, because that's what you're saying.
Oh no!
Yeah.
When did we say don't get that money? No. See,
You just a work husband. Go get
scripturally says,
provisions.
no. Scripturally says we work together.
Mm-hmm.
Scripture don't just say work husband. Scripture says this man, food, shelter, reproduction. The book of Leviticus tells us to get land. What was Israel? Not Israel today. Matter of fact, Israel today, the Israelis are fighting for land. The Palestinians are fighting for land. The Israelis have been fighting for land since the 1940s. Scripturally, the real Israelites, the melanated people, the real Ishmaelites, not them Arabs, right? We have always known that land is power. This man made paper money power that has no value. So I don't got to go chase that money. How about I buy 5, 10, 15, 20 acres, build houses on that land, grow food to feed my family, stock my own lake to fish or have sea food, teach the women in my life to make sure they make the clothing. If we do that, then we are self-sustained. Now people say, oh, that don't happen. That's not true. I'm from a village called Bopolu in Liberia, where my uncles and forefathers and father, that's what they did. And those men there are men. They can build a house. They don't got paper money, but each one of them got 100, 200, 300 acres of land. In America, the people, when you hear this person is worth $1 million, that worth is not in paper money. That worth is in resources and assets. And everybody knows the resource. Steve Harvey, act like a man, think like a lady, act like a lady, think like a man. He has acreage in Georgia. He owns a ranch in Georgia. Oprah Winfrey owns a ranch. Bill Gates owns a ranch. So when black women and black men, when we get back in our right mind, it's not about the paper money. It's about land, resources, food, shelter, reproduction. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Pick me, teacher, pick me.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so, right? Because I'm questioning for my ladies all around the world. However, in reality, I do understand
Around the world.
all the ladies around the world, right? I got y'all. However, I do know that we've been made to see what's not there, to hear what's not there, and to ignore what's right in front of our face, right? So sometimes we may see and we're looking at the wrong guy, or we may hear him say he doesn't want this or he doesn't want that, and we think that we can change the man. But what's right in front of our face is you're saying that you all have more options than we do. So what gives a woman a sense of security in knowing that she can just be kind of tossed to the side and you have so many more options? What gives her that sense of security?
Culture. See, we said in the beginning, spiritual identity, consciousness, conscientiousness, faith. If a woman affixes herself to the right culture and selects a man from that culture secures her. That culture sets rules. That culture checks him. When's the last time you seen an East Indian woman in the street with her bindi on in her man's face? Let me tell you right here, Sinbad. I'm gonna let you know right here, Punjab. You know what I'm saying? You ain't see her go, listen here, Punjab. I'm not gonna keep telling you the same thing, but you understand. You're not my father. No, you don't see that. When's the last time you seen a Chinese woman or a Japanese woman in her man's face like, listen here? You don't see that because the culture has cultural rules that he has to follow, or the culture will check him. The culture will deem him less than a man. See, a man is not about we have options. Real men, again, I'm not talking about just a six-figure man. I'm talking about men of faith, men who embrace our indigenous culture and the rules of that culture. We don't want to be embarrassed in that culture. But if you just get a man and he's not affixed to any organization that holds him accountable, then as the sister said, you're going to be trying to date down. You're going to be trying to, because you ain't got nothing to hold him with. Once you give him the goodness and the mercy, once you give him the Oreos,
I follow you.
once he get the Snicker bar, you know what I'm saying? Once he
get the okay.
That's the real.
So we said mind is the activator. So you mentally activate a man's interest in you, and then sex is the motivator. His desire to continue to copulate with you will make him stay with you mentally and through motivation physically. But if you don't have a mind that's of a certain level of thinking and behaving and walking and talking and being in your ladyhood, because that's why we keep saying ladyhood and not womanhood, because Cardi B's a woman. And the thing she doing with her tongue, we know that's bisexuality, because no man walks around sticking his tongue out that fast thinking that a woman's not using her tongue to do that for no man.
Okay.
Ain't no man watching this right now whose woman goes.
I'm checking to see what the brother was saying.
That's not a man. All the brothers love that. So when I see a woman stick her tongue out her mouth way down here and throwing it all over the place, men don't be like, oh snap. Oh, did you see the way she just moved? That's not
No, no, no,
That's
no, no, no,
not
no.
they licking their man's backside. Ain't no
Mm.
real man like, oh my God, girl. What was you doing back there? That's not who we are. So obviously, that's an ode to bisexuality. That's an ode to lesbianism, and that introduces a thing that's destroying the black race.
Sure.
I don't know, because
And
see,
that's
last year, I'm
Come
sorry,
on,
go
jump
ahead,
in,
brother.
brother. They jumping.
I was about
I
to
was,
ask the brother the question.
I was trying to jump in because I'm agreeing with a lot of the things that you're saying because that's the reality of it. That's the truth. But don't nobody want to face the truth in this latter day. Everybody just saying everything to make their pockets clean and to get those dollars and to get those resources and assets. They're spewing all the lies and not really trying to teach the people or tell the people the truth. That's why a lot of our sisters are out here getting pimped in this latter day. That's why even though they're saying they don't like polygyny or polygamy, they still out here sleeping with this person, that person. That's why a lot of men out here not being held accountable. They out here sleeping with this person and that person. But what you're saying is we have rules, we have standards, and those things are going to put men in their rightful position. Those things are going to put ladies in their rightful positions. As Cat Williams said, he told everybody, he said, we have lost our identity. And that's the problem with us as Nubian Melanites. And we've been saying that as atoners.
Wait, that's the nowadays everybody we keep quoting Cat Williams, so we're gonna start calling him the prophet. Cat
The
Williams.
prophet. I was gonna say we've been saying that this whole time as atoners, but nobody's really trying to tune into the message. We've been saying it this whole time.
Okay, so then on average, and I'm asking the brothers in the room, as righteous brothers, then how long on average do you wait for natural sexual union? Is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? Go ahead, Dr. Tucker.
Like that was a
How long do you
Don't
wait?
let her bully you. Don't let her bully you, man. She's a bully. That's a bully. She's bullying us. I
like
need to
that one. That was a good one.
hashtag bully me.
How long do you wait for natural sexual union?
Yes.
It depends how natural she is.
Well,
if she wears fake eyelashes, she ain't natural enough. Day one.
See, that was a good workaround. I like
yeah,
that. I like
it's
Yes,
there are a lot of things
yes.
that go into that. You want to know a person. You want to be attracted to a person and not physically attracted to the person. When I say attraction, both of you have the same purpose. Both of you are interested in the same culture. Both of you are interested in learning the same things. You see something is wrong in society, and both of you come together under an identity and work towards solving it. But we're not solving it using our own mind. We're solving it because we both have embraced a higher purpose, a higher calling. We embrace the culture. We know what the culture teaches us, and we know what the culture requires of us. So if both of us are thinking on that level, that's the attraction.
Okay.
So neither one of
Day
us
one?
will sway. Neither one of us will
The reason why I'm saying not day one is because throughout past experiences with ladies and things, it's not until I got to actually know her.
Wait a minute. I want to know who the things are with ladies.
The things is like dating ladies and different, whatever. but in the past experiences, rushing it and getting them know them immediately, and then trying to jump into the bedroom immediately, it never worked out. There was always something missing. There was always a void or something that we didn't agree on or see eye to eye on. It always caused more chaos than it did actual balancement. So when you ask that question about natural sexual union, I've come to learn that I had to learn what natural sexual union is and was, because I didn't know what natural sexual union was until I opened up that Science and Art of Memory parchment that Basesh had wrote. So you got to learn those things.
So what kind of sex was you doing before that?
Casual sex. It's in the book. It'll say just regular casual sex.
What's regular casual sex?
Regular casual sex is getting online, typing in, pornography and learning it from those kind of ways, or listening to your brother or uncle or one of your friends give you some kind of example and talk to you about it, trying to figure it out. That's the only way. Other than that, you don't have really no way of knowing what you're supposed to be doing, knowing how you're supposed.
Was it good? Was it good?
See, I was trying to save you, Brother Demarius. I was trying to
somewhere.
I was trying to save you, but I'm glad you said that, right? Can I interject? I'm really glad that Brother Demarius said that, right? Because in the book that he just mentioned, Basesh, you often talk about we love the fairy tale, and I'm convinced through this year of just looking at people and their behaviors, and in retrospect, it seems as though men are just very much engrossed in a fairy tale as females.
Yeah, well,
and
go ahead,
that leads to the bed, and that leads to the bedroom as well, because the 2 stumps, the 3 stumps, the 4 stumps, the legs, that's still a fairy tale. So
those are, and the thing is, real men, the men I grew up around, we didn't do threesomes. That was not it. Because I've had women say to me, but don't all men want a threesome? No. I said, what? I said, I got one body part. If I had 2 body parts, I'm down, because I got, this can be busy, this can be busy. But I got one body part. Right? But they told people through music, through video, that this is what men wanted. So women not really sitting with real men and saying, what is it you want? They heard a song say, I want a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. Decent men who have purpose, you can scare the hell out of them if you come all freak go. Real talk. No, real talk. You be in there like, yo, well, hold on, what we doing? I did not. You pull out 3 handcuffs. He's like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Love, lies, and liberation.
You pull out a long leather strap. Who you beating with that?
Right.
Let me call you Kunta. Whoa.
Okay, well then how do you counter that on both sides? Because
you gotta get back to your scriptures. You gotta get back to your culture. You gotta get back to the answer is not outside. We've tried everything else but righteousness. And I ain't talking about what's his name? T.D. Jakes righteous. Right? Because that's back bottom gristle lumps and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of righteous. I ain't talking back bottom gristle lumps righteous. I'm talking people held accountable to standard. Show me that. What you are doing, show me that in this book. Don't show me something that you interpret like that. Show me that in the law. Show me that behavior. Show me that dress code. Show me that dietary habits. Show me that language. Show me that, you know what I'm saying, that how you raise your children. Show me that education. Show me God's law. Again, the people who say, I ain't into that, we say, no problem. We're not chasing those people. But the reality is, once we pick back up the original laws in the language, I ain't asking King James to translate for me. I don't trust him. I ain't asking the Catholics what they think. Don't trust them. We've got to translate for ourselves in the language, which today you got the capability, Blue Letter Bible and so many other things online. You can read, you can learn language, Rosetta Stone, you can learn. And then say, now, because these people who lived 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago, they got along without a whole bunch of warfare, no rapes, no murders, no molestations, no incest, no drug use, no single motherhood. How did they do it? Because all the people who think that's yesteryear, but yesteryear didn't have the problems and the situations and the things that we're struggling with. Africans, up to 150 years ago, there were no single mothers in the village because the village adopts you. A man in your family takes you on as a second wife. If the Bible says if a man's brother dies, that man must marry his brother's wife. Now people say, what? Yeah, but that's in the Bible. But why did we as Africans do that? Why she can't just marry somebody else? Because someone else may not treat those children as his own. But if that's my brother's children, they are my children. I'm Uncle Haru. Y'all understand? But another man will look at those children and go, yeah, they're my children because I'm with you, but they're not really my children. My real children are children we gonna have. So we understood that. God understood it because he put the same thing there. Why does God's law happen to coincide with indigenous people's law? And man's law happens to coincide with European law. And now we're watching black people who took on European image and culture or beliefs or ideologies as it pertains to relationships, education, dress code, dietary habits. Is the diet of Europeans working for black people? No, because we didn't have all these cancers, colon cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer. We didn't have all these cancers before slavery, before colonial invasion. We didn't have all these cancers. So what happened? We took on their diet, we took on their behavior, we took on their mentality. We didn't have single motherhood. We didn't have prisons. There was no prisons. Because the only reason you committing crimes if you don't have. But if everybody got land and everyone can feed themselves and everyone can clothe themselves, nobody's going out abundantly to commit crimes. And if one crazy guy stands up and does, we don't got to kill him. We just banish him from our village. What a novel idea.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Go ahead, Sister Nala. Jump in.
where do we find these men, Bassett? You have to go back to Africa for
And
that.
this is why they have the passport boys. That's an
No,
addition to it.
don't do that to yourself. I got everybody grabbing up passports. People are people everywhere you go because of television, cell phones, media. The media is in the big cities everywhere you go. Where you find them is you join organizations like the Holy Coptic Church that is attracting women and men who want purpose, who want knowledge, wisdom, understanding, who want to grow, buy land, own land, not housing land, who want to grow food, because the religion will require, we say, as the great Baba Neely Fuller said, religion, economics, labor, sex, gender, education, law, war, security, entertainment, politics. Religion will dictate your economics because your religion tells you your do's and your don'ts, what we want, what we don't want. If you don't eat pork, nobody trying to sell pork is going to do well amongst the Nation of Islam, the Hebrews, the Moors, or the Holy Coptic Church because we don't eat it. So I don't have to be a farmer and go, I'm going to start off with these 4 sows and I wonder if it's going to work. It ain't going to work. But if I'm with these people and I grow some turkey and some chicken, and these 4 organizations eat turkey and chicken, my religion guarantees sales. So you join organizations and you're a part of those men who are helping to create men. We make men better. You know, for those that are Freemasons that are listening out there, in Freemasonry, they say taking good men and making them better. You see? This organization takes a man who's decent and then it shapes that man, cuts away the fat, trims away the unwanted parts of his character. You can't do that no more than I can take a woman and give her dictate to her on all of the ins and outs of being a woman. So while you join us, you help me create ladies for brothers, and I help you create men for you, and together we raise up. But if nobody wants to be involved in the create, I watch women join organizations, Nation of Islam, to find a good man and then try to pull him out the Nation of Islam. Join and succeed, or join an organization, pull him out of the Hebrew Israelites and succeed because his motivation is to be with this woman who he believed because she said coming in, I'm going to join, just give me some time, I want to be a part. But she wanted that good man, but she didn't want what made him a good man. Because if you take away atonism for me, if you take away the Nation of Islam, if you take away the Hebrew Israelites, if you take away the Moorish Science Temple, if you take away the Nubian nation, if you take all of these things that have influenced good men away from us, we wouldn't be men you want.
So is there a difference?
Go ahead, sis.
I'm asking this because I know we gotta close soon because Love Lies Liberation is gonna be fire, right? But what is it then that men want? Are you saying righteous men of faith want something different than, the average guy, maybe even a businessman? They want 2 different things.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with the righteous women versus
it's
women.
called love, lies, and liberation. So righteous men want liberation. The purpose of a righteous woman is liberation. We want liberation from racism, white supremacy.
Amen.
Liberation is land ownership. Liberation is growing food to feed your offspring. Liberation is working with your wife or your husband to prepare for that future. Liberation is a woman making clothes for her family. Liberation is not a woman going to whatever store you go into to buy clothes. That's slavery.
I can appreciate that.
Someone is dictating to you the price. Liberation, when I look at Sister Simone or Sister Amani Mia or Sister Nala Saud or Sister Dr. Ford or Sister Azandi, you all, liberation is when you can control the things that you need. When I look at Brother Damaris, I think Dr. Sutton got a little scared that I was talking about men. But when I look at liberation for men, it's a man, Demarius, being able to provide for his family, not as an employee, but as an employer. When he can work for himself see, I've been working for myself now about 20 years almost, right? And was able to be around my children. You don't know how great it feels as a man, as a woman, to be able to get up every day. I got to write, I got to teach, I got to do all these things. But if my child has a recital, I know I can get there. If my child gets there in school and their stomach hurt, I don't got to be like, well, send them to the room, to the nurse's office, and I'll see if I can get his. No, I'm on my way. My children knew this. They knew they could pick up the phone. Dad, I don't feel well. All right, on my way. I'll be there. Take me about 30 minutes, but I'll be there. That is beautiful.
I can
That's
appreciate
liberation. So we say love lies, but the key is liberation. If you remove liberation, we're just women and men all doing the same thing, and it ain't gonna work because it ain't been working. It used to in the 40s and 30s and 50s, it was working because we had rules. Everybody was a part of something. Everybody, mama on this screen back in the 50s or 40s or 60s early was a part of some organization. Now, most of our friends, if I ask Sister Simone, what organizations are her friends a part of? She'll say she might be the only person of all her friends that she came up with that's a part of something. But she's also probably the only person that got a man, that got a family. All the rest of them that ain't joined nothing, complain. Okay, maybe I'm making this up, but I'm just wild guess. Am I right, Sister Simone?
Yeah, well, the one that made the comment, yeah, single.
Single, but is she a part of something?
No, she goes to church just for the occasion, but
just for the occasion. So there's no accountability. If women want good men, you got to join organizations where good men would be seeking to liberate themselves from drugs or financial stress or whatever. But those organizations are going to hold you accountable. So unfortunately, a lot of the women that are dating down, and ode to Dr. Ford, a lot of the women that are dating down,
They don't want to jump back in.
They don't want to have accountability.
Okay, so if they don't want to have accountability, and I'm being fair, and we're only talking about the melanated family. I remember last year, a couple years ago, Sister Simone asked a question about body count. And she was like, well, if I have all these adverse, not her, somebody, if somebody has all these adverse energies, you remember that question, sis? And they getting all the DNA from all these people. And you mentioned that sexual and that spiritual energy might be passed to the partner. So she, whomever, they deal with that. They come and they join the organization. But then in the Bible, Moses, he got flack because he was going to marry a Cushite woman, and his in-laws was like, whoa, wait. So what do you do as far as prenups and disrespectful in-laws according to righteousness?
Well, number one, Moses' issue was his people had been under a spell like we are today. His sister and them were living amongst Canaanites, and they looked at this Cushite woman with her dark Nubian Melaninite beautiful skin as being ugly, because being raised, living around the Hyksos, dark skin was ugly, just like it was in over the last 40, 50 years. That's been a thing that, being dark, you the lighter the better and all this other crap. So that's number one. So they were suffering from the same racism, white supremacy, according to the books of Isaiah 19, that we're suffering from today. That's number one. Number two, when you're asking about these women or these men marrying and disrespectful in-laws, when a man and woman come together in culture, the in-laws, if they're not a part of culture, they don't got to say so here. I love my mama, but if my mama's not a Nazarite, or my mama's not Nation of Islam, if that's where I'm at, or if my mama's not Moorish, if that's where I'm at, or if your dad or your mom is not Hebrew Israelite, that's where we are. They got to say so as far as coming over and eating dinner with us, but they don't got no say so in our culture. I respect my mama, but like Christ said, who's my mama and my brothers? My mother and my brothers are those who believe as I believe. So I love my mama. I honor my mama, but she can't tell me what righteousness is. If my mama cook, my mom don't cook chitlins, but because she'll see this and get mad at me, right? But if my mom was cooking chitlins, I don't even eat pork. I'm a Hebrew, right? But if my mom was cooking chitlins, and my children are going over there to be with grandma, I'm gonna let her know straight: do not feed the children the pork. If she does it one time, they will never go over to see her again there. She will have to see them under supervised visitation because she didn't follow what I and my wife or wives believe is the way to be done. She got to honor that. You understand what I'm saying? Same with the dads. So this was, I'm an in-law. I got children, 28, 26, and they got spouses. I got to respect them. When I go to their house, I sit my little self in the corner quietly. I speak when spoken to because I'm in their house. I ain't in there like, well, I'm the father. You need to. No, no, no. This is your place. I'm visiting. You follow me? I have a cup of water. I show them respect because I want them to give me that same respect. So we're the same way. We respect our parents. That's the old law. Honor your mother and father that their days may be long. But if my mother and father tries to dishonor the law of God, then me and my mother and father gotta have a little conversation with respect. But we're not gonna violate the laws of the Most High.
And our prenups part of this conversation.
Well, prenups, again, that's legal documents. If two people want to
Wait.
write down,
We can't give it all away. We gotta save the prenups. We gotta save the prenups. We gotta talk about these prenups because these prenups are a problem. So everybody tuned in now. You have to join us for Love Lies Liberation. The first day will be Saturday. What is the date? Next Saturday, the 20th. So purchase your tickets. We'll put information below. You can visit www.journeyhomegroup.com. We'll have information everywhere. Follow us on social media. Get your ticket. We'll talk prenups. We'll talk sex. We'll talk Dr. Tucker Rand. We'll get him back in so we can get his answer. Everything. So thank you so much for joining us. We have to go now, but we're looking forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Reverend Dr. AJ Bravo.
thank you all.